Hi, it's Alesha Tryed in your area. How'd you like that?
I'm ready for another week of me being mediocre. I'm Rob.
Hi, and I wouldn't know sexual tension if it came up and hit me in the face. Bondi.
And it's time for episode 3 of 2.5 Queens. Not again.
Hello and welcome back again to 2.5 Queens, the show where we talk about everything RuPaul's Drag Race UK, because I forgot to say UK last week, Series 2.
And on today's episode, we'll be dissecting episode 4.
No, 3.
We'll be diving into episode 3, Who Wore It Best?
But let's get straight into the episode. We return back from last week where the winner was Veronica Green, and we sadly lost Miss Cherry Valentine at the hands of the wonderful Taste.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I'm wearing yellow in her tribute this week.
Yes, you are.
we feel it. Now, everyone is also feeling it. The emotion is real in the room. That was an emotional lip sync, and you can see that a lot of them are shaken by it. But the one girl who is not shaken and definitely feeling some confidence is Veronica Green.
Yes.
She is very glad she hammered down for the role, but it's clear that in like the talking heads with Ellie that they still don't see her as competition.
Sheridan said she was a triple threat, and I think
Quadruple.
there's quadruple. But I mean, a triple threat in musical theatre is very different to a triple threat on Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
They've seen
Yeah.
Veronica Green perform, but like, have they seen Veronica Green lip sync? Have they seen Veronica Green, you know, do its own challenge, which obviously is going on to this episode.
Mhm.
So the queens are probably like, okay, you know, you are musical theatre, but what else have you got?
What else have you got?
What else have you got? Because a lot of them
Yeah.
hadn't seen her before.
I think that's why a lot of them don't take her seriously as well, because they were like, she was talking all this, you know, I can do this, got 15 years doing this, whatever. But the girls were like, well, what backs it up? You know, we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, Royal Mail delivers every day, but people still hate on them.
Yes, I
There
do.
we are. Veronica is the Royal Mail. Confirmed. There we go. You heard it here first. 2.5 Queens exclusive.
Postman Pat, and his black and white cat.
Now, RuPaul comes back into the workroom to announce episode 3's mini challenge, which has nothing to do with drag, but we had fun regardless because this week the drag queens were going to be doing the limbo, which
Yes.
was very fun. We saw them get into their carnival drag.
Oh,
Yes.
Freak drag.
Lawrence Chaney looked an absolute bastard in that green hair, but it was a lot of fun. I feel like this was probably the best mini challenge we've had yet. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Seeing Ginny just slap that pole in the face, I thought this is what we need.
Yeah. We also had Jodie Harsh.
Jodie
as well.
Harsh.
Jodie
I
Harsh.
forgot.
DJ Jodie Harsh coming in, which was fantastic. That's not only on Drag Race UK, they've obviously got the queens that we know, they're also
Mhm.
inviting guests now from like
Yeah.
UK drag royalty.
Which is rare.
Everyone was kind of
Yeah.
thinking that she'd be on it in the first series. Everyone was like, oh, Jodie Harsh is definitely going to be on it.
Yeah.
But she's kind of big on her own.
You do get those queens that are, then, I don't like using the term too big for Drag Race.
Like Juno Birch.
But yeah,
Good
they
example.
make their own path.
That's why we're doing this.
Well, it turns out our winners for the episode were a very flexible Veronica and Taste.
Veronica, I mean, Veronica has some years on her.
She's the black horse of this company.
Yeah, black horse, yeah. She has some years on her and she managed to bend her back. I know that I wouldn't be able to.
Not you calling her out.
It's funny you say that because Veronica does remind me quite a bit of Jocelyn Fox.
Yeah, with
I
her
actually get
does a
those
poke
feels.
shit in the woods.
Just the black horse, exactly. Yeah.
Black
Yeah,
horse.
she's a bit
Yeah.
dorky, but it
Yeah.
all kind of adds to the charm, doesn't it?
Wah wah.
And that takes us to the maxi challenge, which is a sewing challenge called Who Wore It Best? Now, we were split into 5 pairs, and these were Sister and Ginny, Bimini and Estina, Taste and Ahura, Veronica and Tia, and Ellie and Lawrence.
Yeah, they got to pick on their own, didn't they? They had to choose
Yes, they got to
a
pick.
person they think they would work best with. And I think somehow, even though they've all got their own distinctive personalities, they all kind of matched.
But little did they know they were actually going to be up against one another, and Veronica and Taste's prize for being the most flexible bitches was the fact that they got to pick their colours.
Can you believe, sidebar, that Bimini did not win that?
The bendiest bitch
The
in
bendiest
London.
bitch in East London.
Oh,
didn't-
yes!
But
I'm not gonna lie, right? Fake news, ain't got time for it.
So the colours were picked. Veronica goes for green, which Tia was outraged at, completely forgetting that Veronica's name is Veronica Green.
Tia was wearing green.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not Veronica Blue.
Yeah.
100%. And Taste confidently went for black,
Yeah.
which takes us forward into the challenge where we know they're going to be against one another. So Taste must feel the pressure of being against Ahura, who is a fashion student.
Yes.
She's got a degree.
She's got a degree.
She has got a degree. Going into this, who would you predict would be like the biggest forces, the ones you would think could win this?
Ellie. I've seen what Ellie can do.
Yeah.
I didn't know Lawrence was, making things, so I thought Ellie would win that kind of pairing and she would be
Yeah.
best overall. What about you?
We hadn't heard much about Lawrence making stuff, so in terms of
exactly.
people that we kind of had from episode 1 who we were like, oh, they've made their costumes, Ellie spoke about the most.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Ellie has made it quite clear
Yes.
that she makes her costumes. And Ahura.
I
Yeah,
agree.
of course.
Ellie and Ahura seemed like the two big threats. I thought they would be one of the two winners, and I would not want to be against them because they talk the talk, and when people talk the talk enough, you kind of start to believe the talk they talk.
Even if you know they can't walk it, your mentality is like, oh shit.
Yes, you're immediately sort of on that back foot. And some absolutely were, most of all, Tia Kofi. So in the discussion with Veronica Green, she made it very clear she just sends what she wants to a designer and goes, there you go. She basically just hands the responsibility over. Is she the one you kind of expect to struggle most going into this?
Yes.
She was for me.
I've had my thoughts about Tia Kofi.
Mm-hmm.
I've turned around to her now. I do love a bit of tea and a little bit of coffee, but I did think that again, Tia's gonna struggle.
Famous last words, you go onto Drag Race and you don't know how to sew. It kind of bodes what the episode is going to do. But I do think you can make nice stuff out of glue guns and,
It's possible.
it is possible. People have done on US Drag Race outfits that they're not a seamstress but have passed.
Ben de la Creme won a challenge on hot glue. But not a lot happened until we got RuPaul into the room, who was ready to stir the pot just a little bit and get those emotions really flowing. Now, the most prominent feature of this episode, thank God, was Ginny. RuPaul was really encouraging them to go sexy and sort of preying on the idea that they don't love their body. I'm not sure if I agreed, and I thought this was a bit of a unfair criticism from Ru, because that really just isn't Ginny's aesthetic. Do you think this was a right way to push them?
No, because if Ginny wanted to do sexy, they would have. And there's plenty of girls there who do sexy very well.
And plenty who don't.
And plenty who don't. And Ru's not saying. And I think every season there's that kind of queen where the judges try and mould them, and then the queen does what they say, and it never goes well. And I feel like Ginny's done really well so far.
Yes.
And
not unsexy, like.
And not unsexy.
Yeah.
Ginny's done well
Or
being
trying
Ginny.
to
Just
be
by
sexy.
being Ginny,
just
yes.
by being Ginny.
And so I just think, even though it's nice to be pushed out your comfort zone every once in a while, you're on Drag Race. You're there to show everyone who you are. And Ginny's been doing a really good job of that.
It really did lead into the next part where things really sort of unravelled, as we got to learn more about Ginny's identity expression. They are non-binary, and they start to open up about this to sister, and then it progresses further to Bimini, who is the other non-binary contestant. Bimini put this
Very lovely.
so beautifully in such an easy way to understand for anyone who may be watching perhaps with their parents.
Yes.
Who doesn't understand it, that there are about 7 billion people in this world and gender is a spectrum. Why does you have to fall into each category? How amazing was this to see?
I think it's definitely something that Drag Race has needed for a while.
Big time.
And there's always been conversations about how Drag Race is probably one of the biggest queer media forms we have at the moment in terms of queer entertainment and TV
Agreed.
on the stage. And there's only really a small representation that actually gets
on the show.
show. So to have this open discussion about obviously people being non-binary, and like you said, the way that Bimini had described it as well, the way that they said about 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how can we all just fall into one binary, male or female? It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It
of
is.
course.
When you think about it, it's crazy.
And just amazing to see this represented on the BBC. Honestly, I've got goosebumps. This is the closest I've been to tears.
I was
this
like,
entire time.
I was sat there and I was like doing my makeup, watching Ginny, and I just I was like shivers all up my arms.
We all looked at each other and we were like goosebumps because Ginny's obviously somebody that we know and we've seen perform. We've seen Ginny on stage as they are this character, and that character obviously comes from a place, and sometimes stuff like that does come from places of
Worcester.
hurt. Worcester. Places of hurt. Worcester.
I'm really inspired by Ginny actually.
And as residents of Birmingham, we extend our love to you, Ginny. We can't wait to see you back in the Nightingales or back in the Village Inn when we come back.
Village in Birmingham? No, I can't.
And where
do that, and it's a Brummie accent.
We can't wait to see you, and we're so proud of you for everything that you are displaying on screen.
Yeah,
and we love you for who you are.
You're slaying the game, babes.
But you'll never watch it, which is fine.
And
The only other real talking point, I'm just going to ask you quickly, do we still not care about Taste and Ahura?
Still don't give a shit.
not a rat's arse.
Period. And over it.
Wonderful, that was our lovely 10-second insert of our opinions on Taste and Ahura. Finn. And now it's time to hit the runway, which is also the maxi challenge for this week's episode because it is a fashion challenge. We saw Ru come down the runway in what is probably my least favourite look she's worn so far.
I enjoyed it.
It was fine.
We like a one sleeve moment, don't we?
And this week's guest judge is supermodel Jordan Dunn, who on the opposite side I think was the best guest judge we've had so far.
Yeah, that construction that she was wearing.
Oh,
Yeah. I've
She
actually
looked
seen
amazing.
it. It's straight off the runway.
High for shown.
so now it's time for the contestants to hit the runway. Who did wear it best? So the first people to come down, the first pair, were Taste and Ahura. So first off, before we discuss the actual look themselves, who won for you?
Taste.
Ahura?
Ahura.
Ding ding ding, it's 2-1 for Ahura.
I just don't like the bitch.
But we're talking fashion here, so
actually-
why Taste for you?
I prefer Taste because it felt, she said it was like editorial and I agreed. I liked the kind of punky construction with the pins and whatever. And I liked Ahura's as well, but it just, to be fair, I didn't see more than a few sleeves, whereas the Tastes I saw a vision.
I actually agree with pretty much what you said, but I felt like Taste's was a vision and Ahura's was a completed vision.
Right.
So as much Taste's was more exciting,
Yeah.
but Ahura's was complete. Everything which you wanted to do, she did. Sorry.
Fuck that coaster.
Fuck that coaster. God, we're not talking about Estina now. Are you
What
ready?
that means?
A coaster, like she's coasting.
I do agree with Michelle's comment though. I do think the horn wig was brought out the box a bit too quickly. Like obviously we just
After
seen
the
it-
Welsh look.
we just seen the Welsh look, which was, I mean, it wasn't even like she had used that wig for a mini challenge or like, you know, a little throw look. Like it was that Welsh dragon look was probably one of the big ones of that night.
Yeah.
So then to bring it out where this one's actually really focusing on you, it's probably like, oh, okay. But yeah, I did like Taste. I thought it looked a little bit mismatch around the edges.
The second pair down the runway was Ginny versus Sister. Who was your winner?
Sister.
Sister.
My God, we're all complimenting Sister. So 2.5 queens first.
I always do. I like her.
I don't dislike her. I just don't think we've seen anything that exciting until now.
This look was lovely. I liked the rouge. I liked the construction. The middle.
That nearly came out.
Ginny, do you know what? I think they really took that challenge of looking sexy. But Ginny was walking down that runway, hip pads, boobs, and was just so, like, I think just happy. Maybe not comfortable looking like that.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
happy.
they certainly looked good.
Well, you girls look
I
good.
feel like they were giving me very Jimbo.
Jimbo, oh my gosh, yes.
I got Jimbo.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got
I
got big, and I don't like to compare, but I did get
No.
quite Jimbo
Yeah.
vibes.
But I'm saying because it kind of like, you know, like Jimbo would go out there and fully just camp it up and play up to that kind of thing. And I feel like that's what Ginny was doing.
As lovely as it was to see Ginny like this, it did just make me miss Ginny's
I miss the
aesthetic.
Crocs.
Yeah.
I just love what Ginny does, and it's so unique, and it was lovely to see them go outside the box, but I miss the box. But Sister haven't complimented her yet, so Sister, here is your compliment. Loved the outfit, really liked the trousers.
You'll never get another one.
Could have worked on the wig line, but we'll maybe cover that because I'm not a drag queen.
We sat right here. God's sake, don't talk about wig lines. This
Yeah.
is a wig.
This is a wig. At night time, it clips off and puts
Yeah.
at the bedside table.
Like Lawrence's.
The third duo down the runway were Veronica Green and Tia Kofi. Who was your winner?
Tia.
Veronica.
I will actually say Tia Kofi.
You give me your reasons as to
So, I'll tell you why. Veronica came around that runway first. Sorry, did you want to speak? Too bad. Veronica came around that corner and I just thought, it's nice. You know, it's nice. It's a little, you know.
Yeah.
I thought she lined the dress. It looked very professional. It looked very
It
good.
had a hem.
There was a
It
hem
had a
everywhere.
line. It had a hem and a line.
Yeah.
And it was inspired by the Irish flag, wasn't it?
That sounded like a crock of shit.
A reach.
That was.
Is this another one of
Veronica Green
explaining her look?
She's pulled a muscle reaching so bloody
She
hard.
always does.
Check her arm.
But I like Tia's look because I think because it was such a big surprise to see Tia looking good.
Oh, the hair.
You wasn't expecting that at all!
I wasn't expecting that at all.
The hair was fab. The bow, I believe she made it, which is
Well, the only thing
Amazing.
that she said the only thing she could make was a bow.
A bow, yeah.
She made a lovely bow.
well. I think the
It's a lovely
dress
bow.
was lovely. The little circle skirt moment she had. It was a nice length. The top was fine. Like she was like it's barely clipped on me, blah, 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 but I think it looked fine.
The vision of Tia's was more exciting. The execution of Veronica's was just better.
Yeah.
And I think we are getting a bit caught up. Tia, you are my absolute favourite. But caught up in the idea that Tia's not a fashion queen. So as soon as she comes out of a runway with something that is more than a 4 out of 10, I feel like we are channeling excitement. Like, come on, Tia!
Yeah.
Tia looked amazing. Best hair, best makeup so far.
Yeah.
And that I actually liked the look. It wasn't
Yeah.
that I didn't like the look. I thought it was actually so much better than I expected. Tia was happy with her look being adequate and just still on. So this was really a win for Tia.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Anything was a win.
I'm sure she's feeling very, very proud, even though she lost.
And on to our fourth duo, which was Estina and Bimini. Your winner?
Bimini.
Our Bims.
Bimini Bomb Boulash.
Across the board,
Triple B.
3-0. Well done,
BBB.
Bimini. Why Bimini?
Because Estina sucked. I didn't really like Bimini's either. It was a bodysuit under some net fabric. But yeah, Estina's was just kind of like, what?
Yeah. For Estina, it's like she got away with winning in an ASOS jacket for episode 1, so this time she was like, let's just wear Primark and see if I can get away with that.
I think that's my problem. So the ASOS jacket went with the aesthetic and the style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Next episode we had the game, the Chung-Li inspired, but the reveal was the coat coming off. Episode 3, we've now just had like a low rent version of a skater's dress. So it's been very plain Jane runways for me.
Well, it was more that she tried to sell it off as anime, so everything is almost like the outfit's a bit basic, but I'm giving it a character, so it's okay.
She put a ponytail wig on it and
Yeah.
called it a day. It's like,
You know what? If it was supposed to be schoolgirl, give me the schoolgirl. Give me the blazer and the little a tie.
yeah. The question I have to ask is, if that wig wasn't there and she didn't say anything about anime, would you get anime from that outfit?
Oh, no.
Absolutely not in a million
And we
years.
already read the house down boots for Veronica for trying to explain one of the outfits, and I was like, if you have to explain it, it's not going to work, and it didn't work for the judges.
And the very last duo to come down the runway was the battle of the Scottish divas. It was Ellie Diamond and Lawrence Cheney. Now, who was
Lawrence Cheney!
very there? Who is your winner?
Ellie.
Ellie Diamond for me too.
It would have to be the one and only Ellie Diamond.
Ellie
Shocker.
Diamond.
yeah.
Ellie
Shocker
Diamond.
surprise.
Ellie's look just, I mean, it was fair enough a bodysuit, you know, whatever, but it was jazzed up, it was very well made. From the beginning, Ellie said, I'm going to make a Marie Antoinette inspired look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and it was very successful. The monochromatic kind of gold, the makeup was different, it wasn't just like the standard kind of makeup that we've seen from her so far.
Yeah.
She changed it up.
She looks stunning.
And to be fair, there wasn't much in it because Lawrence's outfit was really great, looked really well made, and I did like it. But Ellie's just kind of made me go, ooh.
Ellie and Lawrence were my top 2 of the week, so they were very unfortunate
Yes.
to be against one another
Yeah.
because either of them could have won. And Ellie only just pips Lawrence to the post because everything, again, was executed perfectly. But I
Yeah.
think Again, this is probably the most stunning Lawrence has looked. Absolutely killed it, and I was
They both knocked it out of the park.
both knocked it out
Yeah.
of the park.
It was a silhouette that I've seen Lawrence do before, but that's props to Lawrence because obviously the outfits that Lawrence has walked in so far are all done by designers.
Yes.
So to look something that's on par with something that she's already got from a designer.
So we disagreed with a couple, and
Yeah.
we agreed with a few, but the winner of this week's challenge was Lawrence Cheney!
Lawrence Cheney.
You win a RuPeter badge, which still will not pay for your costumes, but
Don't overflow the control with that. Do you want some more?
yes, please.
You're enjoying it now?
No, it's making me gassy.
Well, just stop wasting it on her then. Pour me some.
Can you see a top 3 for me yet?
No. Oh, this is an interesting one. Who's your top 3?
So my top 3 at the moment.
What, this prediction or want?
This is a prediction.
Right, your prediction.
slash
Go on.
want,
Go
but
on,
like
then.
my prediction top 3 at the moment is Ellie Diamond, Tace, and Lawrence Cheney.
Okay.
All right.
I would agree with 2 of them. I think it will be Lawrence. I think it will be Taze. Now I'm starting to think it's going to be Veronica Green. I feel like Veronica's getting a big push, and I've just got a feeling Veronica's going to get there.
I think it's going to be Lawrence. I think Bimini's going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've just got it. I've got it in the back of my mind. I love you, Bimini. Don't know if I mentioned this. Ellie. Lawrence, Ellie, and Bimini are the ones that I want.
Yeah.
There.
There are predictions stamped. We cannot change them now. It's on record. It's on record. But now it's time to head back to Untucked. Now I feel like there was a bit more drama this week, but it's really going to find its way, falling into future episodes.
You know those pots where you put the hot water in and the lid's starting to
Simmer.
Yeah.
simmer.
Very
And the
much
things that
simmering.
last week, the splashes were coming out and stuff like that. Now the lid is starting. The lid is like
It's
popping.
bubbling.
It's,
It's
well,
popping.
it's a horror who's bubbling because
A horror.
has been stirring that pot for a couple of weeks now, but I think the fact that she hasn't won this episode has caused her to overflow because she is just.
You look.
First of all, not impressed that she didn't win. She was
Yeah.
quite upset with that.
You look pissed. I'm not pissed.
You know, you coming in and you're like, I didn't win. I didn't win something I thought that I would win. And when you've convinced yourself to the point of delusion, then
Delusion.
I mean, the drama didn't really come from a horror not winning. It was more the fact that she felt annoyed that Tia was still there because she felt that some really talented people were going, and she was fed up with Tia being desperate, and it was really.
I was really happy that
Uncomfortable.
Veronica went all guns blazing for Tia. I really like that.
yeah.
Um,
It's almost like, why are you concerned about someone else? You should be in your lane. Like, why is Tia being here causing you so much? Are you just deflecting?
maybe I don't want to say that she's jealous of Tia or she's threatened by Tia. Maybe she is, but she's definitely Tia's got her feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
And I'm loving seeing it. I love it. It gives me that buzz.
Love it. I love it. And it gives me that buzz.
As soon as she called Tia desperate, she crossed that line into me thinking, oh, you're being a bit personal now.
But props to Veronica
Props
Green.
to Veronica.
Props to Veronica Green, absolutely. Veronica, this has really, really done a lot for Veronica. for me.
She's gone way up in my estimation, and
She
I loved
did.
her already.
We head back to the runway, and the bottom 2 this week are Tia and Estina.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about this bottom 2? Do you actually agree with bottom 2 first and foremost?
So Tace and Ellie, definitely not in the bottom for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No way. Ginny. No. I didn't see it for them, but okay. I think the bottom 2 was right.
Okay.
I think it would have been shady boots to put Ginny in the bottom after Ginny took on what they said.
Well, that's exactly
And-
what they do all the time on that show, isn't it?
Exactly. So it was actually refreshing to see sometimes actually somebody adapting the judges' critiques and not being slam dunked in the bottom. They're not showing exactly what they want.
But you thought Tia won. You thought
I
Tia-
did think Tia was going to win out of her and Veronica.
So would you have put Veronica in the bottom?
No way.
But you would have put Tia in the bottom.
Not this.
The mental gymnastics that I am doing
The
right
reach!
now! That's not even a reach. So if Veronica wouldn't have been in the bottom, but
Fine
Tia
then.
would.
Veronica would have been in the bottom as well, because I preferred Tia's over Veronica's. So yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Ronnie.
And the lip sync song was Don't Stop Now by Dua Lipa, which I
Yes,
actually
please.
called being, not this lip sync, but I really thought they were going to do this series. and I was very glad they did. Did they do it justice?
I'm not saying I wanted gymnastics and stunts, but I just wanted something more, and I don't think either of them brought it.
I thought Estina would do more for what she's said she can do. I thought we were only getting like 60%. Maybe Estina was shocked and didn't expect to be there and was just caught in the moment.
Before the lip sync, she had that moment where she was like, if they want a lip sync, I'm going to give them one. And then she didn't give us one.
It was a bit...
It's almost like when the lights go up, you are a deer in the headlights, and you almost feel like you just have to like pinch yourself and be like, oh my god, I'm actually like lip syncing for my life right now.
And I think that's why Tia ended up winning, because I think Tia expected to go. So
she didn't care what to do.
Everything in there.
I mean, Tia, how's your knees? Because you dropped like a sack of potatoes to that floor. Even RuPaul was like...
So congratulations, Tia Kofi. So happy that Tia stayed, because I feel like Tia's got so much left in her, and fashion doesn't summarise what Tia is about.
Fashion does not a drag queen make.
But I'm sad, we are losing Estina, the winner of week 1. It's now gone. Yet another shocking elimination, if you ask me. It's not for you. You're not surprised.
No.
I thought it was overdue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think obviously all of them are going to be shocking because we just don't want any of them.
I mean, they're all so good.
But
it's such a strong cast.
Yeah, big time.
Out of this episode, yeah, Estina did do probably the worst. So
I wasn't gagged. That is how the cookie in the Tia Kofi crumbles. That didn't make any sense.
But we're gonna go with it.
Loved that for you.
Thanks.
So that brings us to the end of episode 3. We are now down to 9 girls. Unbelievable. They are dropping like flies, and we've still barely lost anyone from US. But next week's episode, we are joined by the gorgeous Lorraine Kelly.
As
Lorraine Kelly.
Lorraine. I do love a good obviously this one's a morning show, but I love a good acting challenge that's not like a silly Farmer musical. We've seen everything.
Talking of seeing everything, what are we going to see next week on the episode? We're going to see Ahura confess that she was talking shit about Tia. Tia's got it in her to give something right back.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, I guess we're not saying don't send hate. We don't want any of our comments to encourage any hate.
No hate to anyone on Drag Race, just to Alesha Tryed.
Always welcome.
These are our opinions. We're not like, forcing these opinions on anybody else. We are just two queens and a 0.5.
What do we know? We're not drag queens.
And some of us try and be considerate about them. Some people do not. But we're done now. That is the end of the episode. If you've enjoyed what you've watched, please feel free to subscribe to us. And if you want to follow us, then follow us on Instagram at 2.5queens. And we're so excited to come back next week.
We'll be here in the
We'll be here next week in our best glad drags.
I wonder what I'll wear next week.
I will
find out, aren't we? But thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye!
We better see you next week. Right, can we pause? Because my dress is literally on my fucking crack.